strict. I went back and cut short my slides. So I'll be very brief. Today, when we look at e-governance, there are many initiatives which come to mind. Since yesterday, we've been listening to CSCs, we learned about e-gas, Kisan, so many initiatives. What is the most common factor or denominator which effectively differentiates the enablement of these technologies? Coming from an era when I started my career, Sachin Tendulkar and I started in the same year. But more importantly, the data communication was limited to telex. The voice communication was limited to a rotary dial telephone. Today, we are looking at smartphones and applications which are able to provide answers much, much earlier than even a laptop, because by the time you connect to a laptop, you've already have an answer on the smartphone. Just today, we also read in the newspaper about the NOFN, how should I say, initiative, which is providing 250,000 gram panchayats connectivity. So the government has yesterday apparently released this news that 3 internet connections on Wi-Fi would be provided within the next 12 to 15 months. To enable all of these technologies, we come to last mile. Till the fiber is actually brought to each home, how do we enable the technology? Can we go to the next few slides, please? So I picked out the 4 key initiatives where most of the planned budgets are being implemented, be it on the anti-terrorist, which is rapid response, disaster management, security surveillance, CSCs or NEGP programs. All of them have one common factor, which is requirement of bandwidth, hence requirement of last mile. So I have tried to keep the next 2.5 minutes on this. All of these need IP networks. All of these IP networks effectively need point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, various modes of communication. Keep on going forward. Just keep on going forward. What are the challenges that we see? High capacity requirements are there. Low capacity requirements are there. High density areas are there, and then long distances. So when we look at urban and when we look at rural, the challenges are different and the requirements are the same, meaning the same product should be able to deliver capacity high or low in a multi-user environment or an aggregation environment. So what we did is we looked at what was available as a last mile. Wi-Fi. Now Wi-Fi had many advantages, but also had many disadvantages. The advantages were simple, that you could connect to it very easily and very, very low cost. The disadvantages was that it had limitations on, how should I say, stability, because it was made more for downloading, and IP, as it's generally known, is the best effort basis. So we developed certain, we deployed certain technologies to make it a little more robust radio. These were the need of the hour, as we say. These were the challenges, that the deployment should be easy, it should be quick, you should not need highly skilled people to be able to do that. The CapEx and OpEx should also be minimal. So looking at that, what we looked at, we evaluated and identified 5.8 gigahertz or below because of the characteristics that it has, meaning in case it is being used in over water or in coastal regions or in the hills, those environmental factors do not affect this frequency typically. And also when you're deploying it, your CapEx and OpEx are always under control because you do not have to invest in large towers. As you can see, the smaller one on the right-hand side of mine, on the left-hand side for everybody, is the one in 5.8, whereas the larger are the traditional microwave radios and antennas. Deployment of various modulations which provide stability even in near line of sight or non-line of sight by using multipath. Patented forward error correction, automatic relay request, meaning you keep on sending the data. So even if there's an IP packet loss, you send 200% data instead of 100% data, so their IP packet loss is not a concern. Diversity and MIMO are other technologies which provide advantages by using multiple radios, vertical, horizontal polarization, etc. Automatic channel selection. Now, this is very important for us when we are looking at huge deployment in the urban areas or even in rural now, where unlicensed band has suddenly seen a huge spurt. So automatic channel selection allows the radio automatically to be able to choose the channel which has the least interference. Now we look at it, even smart antennas are being deployed, so which are able to, without any manual intervention, are able to take advantage of diffraction and refraction in case of such. Jitter buffer can be redefined again to interference, to mitigate interference. So effectively a lot of effort has gone into providing all of these technologies into one single platform to be able to deliver both very, very high. So traditionally WiMAX, when we talk about wireless, WiMAX comes to mind. So till now WiMAX is able to deliver about 50 Mbps over the radio, whereas we are able to pump in 250 Mbps over the same radio. Multi-band radio, we have 5.9 on the unlicensed band, we've got 4.9 on the security band. So same radio is able to provide connectivity over all these bands. We've also developed certain protocols to ensure that the support of high throughput is also available on high mobility, meaning not only does a patrol car within the city, but also in case the train is moving at 120 kilometers an hour, we are able to support both surveillance on this moving train as well as provide Wi-Fi. This is already under testing with the Indian Railways right now. With this, I would like to thank you, and that's all.